This was your division, Alan.
Yes.
So your thoughts on the hype and the fighter to this point?
I think when we all saw Khamzat get into the octagon for the first time, we knew there was something different. To throw a head kick and to change levels and go almost ankle pick, and the speed in which he closed the distance, right? Physically, it was something special. Dominance on top on the ground. Able to work the mic. But the confidence level, he spoke about the confidence. Conor McGregor was the one that got him into the UFC, that made him a spark in him to say, look, I could do that. If Conor could do it, I could do it. He has shown nothing but greatness throughout 4 fights. This is definitely the biggest test against the number 2 ranked Gilbert Burns coming up in this matchup.
Now, when I watch him from the coach's eye and look at him from a technical standpoint, he does practically everything right. He does everything good, and he's strong. What I question about him is some of the other intangibles, like his willpower, how he reacts to adversity, what he does in the long term. So now we're going to find out on Saturday night, because if anybody's going to bring that out of him, it's a guy like Gilbert Burns.
And by the way, he might also be the hardest worker in the room. I mean, it's incredible, the work ethic, but you're right. We haven't necessarily seen him tested or dragged to those proverbial deep waters. Now, the betting line suggests that Gilbert Burns is being disrespected. Those are not my words. Dino, to what extent do you believe that to be the case?
That is 100% the case. Gilbert Burns is being disrespected here. We are forgetting about how good Gilbert Burns is, because the optics of what Khamzat Chimaev has done has made us believe that he's so great. Now, I'm not saying that he's not great. He's very good, but he hasn't been tested yet. You know who has been tested? Gilbert Burns. Right. He's been tested. He's proven Gilbert Burns can fight, and I think those numbers are terribly disrespecting him, and I hope Gilbert Burns does something about it.
It shows how high the MMA world is on somebody like Khamzat Chimaev. There's a lot of expectations, high expectations going on for him in this fight. One thing we haven't seen about him, later rounds. He's never been to the 3rd round throughout his entire career. He's been to the 2nd round 2 or 3 times. Gilbert Burns has been tested. Elite competition, 5-round fights. He has been there. This is a big step up in competition, and if Gilbert could slow this fight down, drag it into the later rounds, we might see what Khamzat is made of.
So prior to his fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov, Dustin Poirier said to us in our fighter meeting, I want to feel him on the ground to know exactly how strong he is. And he found out acutely just how strong Khabib was. But much has been made of the size discrepancy in this matchup, and I think rightfully so. Your thoughts on the former lightweight Gilbert Burns taking on a guy in Khamzat Chimaev who has light heavyweight aspirations?
Chimaev is someone who went into a grappling match against Jack Hermanson, a middleweight, a very strong grappler in a middleweight, and was able to show control and dominance. But you look at Gilbert Burns, we talked about this earlier, Dean. Rafael Lovato Jr., one of the best jiu-jitsu artists in the world. Gilbert Burns was able to beat him in a jiu-jitsu match. So I think the grappling aspect will be very well matched up.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful, because the length of Chimaev can be a problem. I mean, he's able to control from all different angles and from different spaces. But Gilbert Burns, being a shorter guy, is stocky and he's compact, so he can bottle that up and then use his power to his advantage.
And I do work with Gilbert Burns' strength and conditioning coaches. I'm not very strong, obviously, in those sessions, but their whole philosophy, if they can plant a seed of doubt, maybe get up or land a seminal blow early, perhaps they could plant that seed and change the complexion of the fight.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.